Welcome to tonight's game. It's a varsity soccer game between St. Mary and Farmington Knights. So, heading onto the field now, we have goalie Alejo, and then Stephen Gent, number 2, number 3, Cade Blackman, number 4, Brenner Galahar, Guillermo Barossa, number 5, is heading onto the field, Ethan Miller, number 6, Chase Galahar, number 9, Trent Berghaus, number 10, number 13, TJ Smogala, number 16, Gatlin Roberts, and number 30, Brandon Shopper. So we get a little friendly competition here between the two teams. Doing a little pregame good lucks, if you will. And they will head to their respective sides. Yeah. All right, looks like St. Mary's ready to go. Just waiting on Farmington to finish their huddle, and they're ready. Looks like Brandon Sharpert will be looking to get the ball for the Knights, and we are underway with the first whistle. All right, long pass to number 2, Stephen Gent. All right, number 9, heading upfield. Swinging it back into the offense and then right back to defense. All right, St. Mary loses the ball, and a pass upfield, long way. Up, early scoring chance, and a save by Alejo. Alejo looking to make a few more of those tonight. Keep the Knights in scoring distance at the very least. Long pass, cross field. Farmington's got control of it, but looks like could lose it, and they still got control of it. Passes back. Alejo will be there to get it, kick it out. Long kick, and a whistle blown. St. Mary's ball. Number 12 will kick the ball in. And here we go. Long pass down the field. Now he's in, and he missed it. Whistle blown. So now it'll be the Knights' ball. They will go on offense. Here's Alejo with his kick. Good kick down the line. Bounces it forward. St. Mary controls it again, and Farmington kicking it high into the air. And bounced right back by St. Mary. St. Mary controls it. And he kicks it. Alejo coming out to get it. And he will control it. Alejo kicking it back out again. Down the field. Halfway. St. Mary going back to get it. Cage trying to get down there, and he can't get to. Ooh, he's almost got it. St. Mary keeps him away from it, though. So St. Mary heading now towards the offensive zone. Ooh, Farmington almost takes control of it there, and they do. They will kick it back and then right back forward. And Farmington's got a chance here, and it will be kicked out of play. So it'll be Knight's ball right next to the goal. And they will take it. And St. Mary immediately getting it. And it's bounced out. And it will be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary controlling the ball. Keeping it in the air. They get it on the ground. And now they're trying to get some offense going. And they'll hit it down the line. Right to a Farmington player, and he will try to keep it away from St. Mary. And it's out of play. So it'll be Farmington's ball. They'll throw it in. Shopper's got it, and St. Mary takes control. Ethan Miller kicking it far down the field. Cade Blackman running for it. Brenner Gallagher as well. And their goalie will proceed to take the ball. Hits it far down, about halfway. And Farmington takes control, but then loses it to out of bounds. St. Mary's ball. Number 12 will take it. Will Hannibal. He'll throw it in down the line. And nobody will get to it, but Farmington will retake it. St. Mary fighting with Farmington, trying to get to it. And St. Mary will control it. Number 23 has the ball, fighting for it. And Farmington will retake it. St. Mary. And then it's bounced out of play by St. Mary. So it'll be Farmington's ball. We're 5 minutes in. Still no score. It'll be Farmington's ball. Looks like Ethan Miller has it. He throws it in. Shopper bounces it. And they will pass it around, trying to keep it away from St. Mary. They'll pass it back into their own zone. And they'll get away from St. Mary. Ooh, St. Mary. Farmington loses control of the ball. It will go out of bounds, and it will be St. Mary's ball. Thrown in. Really close to the goal, and it will be bounced out of play. And it will be Farmington's ball. Alejo will throw it in for his team. Long kick. And St. Mary will bounce it right back to him. They're heading that way. St. Mary. Good offensive opportunity here, but Farmington's defense will take control and bounce it out of play. St. Mary, throw the ball in. Far back, they'll bounce it into the air. And Shopper will bounce it. and it will roll out of play. Continues to be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throws it in again. Right next to the goal, and Farmington's defense will kick in and kick it away from the goal. And St. Mary will bounce it out of play, and it will be Farmington's ball. Farmington throws it in. St. Mary and Farmington fighting for it. Manages to keep it in bounds, and it will bounce out of play, and it will be St. Mary's ball. They throw it in really quick. Oh, and it will go out of play. Nobody could get to it. Good play by the defender there for Farmington. So Alejo will be there again to kick it out to center. A solid kick. Bounces off a Farmington player and right to St. Mary. They'll pass it back to their own zone and right back towards the offense. Long kick towards goal, and there's a chance for St. Mary, and good block by Farmington defender to protect from a goal. Solid defense for both sides so far. A lot more offensive opportunities for St. Mary early in the game, but there's still a lot of game to be played. So we'll see what happens. St. Mary kicks it in. Farmington defender kicks it out. And Farmington controls the ball, trying to keep it away from St. Mary. Passes it to number 2 and kicked right out of the zone. It'll be St. Mary's ball. Ooh, St. Mary kicks it away from 16 and takes revenge, and 16 kicks the ball away from St. Mary. St. Mary controlling the ball, kicking it up the line, and it will roll out of play. Continues to be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throws the ball in, and it's bounced high in the air, and nobody can get to it, and it will be bounced out of play. So it'll be St. Mary's ball. They'll throw it in. It's right on top of the goal, and it will bounce away from the net. Seemed to go around the net almost there. So it'll be Farmington's ball. And Alejo will kick it to center. Solid kick by Alejo. Farmington controls it. Bounces to St. Mary. And St. Mary controlling it, trying to get past those Farmington defenders. He'll kick it back into his own zone. Take control. St. Mary kicking it up the line. Alejo going for it. And he makes the sliding grab to keep it away from St. Mary. Okay, so Alejo kicks it down the line really deep. St. Mary kicks the ball, and then it will be St. Mary's ball as play was stopped. So Alejo controls it for Farmington. He will kick it out. It's down the line. Farmington controls it, but it will bounce out of play, and it will be St. Mary's ball. we have about 28 minutes left in this first half, and still no score on either side. St. Mary will throw the ball in. We'll go deep into Farmington's zone. Farmington defender will be there, but St. Mary right on top of him. And he'll get some help. So they'll kick it to Alejo, and play was stopped. Alejo will be kicking it out again. Kicked up the field. St. Mary will take control of it first, and they'll head right back to where they came from, to the offensive zone. Ooh. Play will be stopped. Oh, no, never mind. Farmington will take control of the ball, and St. Mary takes it back. Hits it up the field. Farmington blocking the St. Mary offender. St. Mary has control again. Farmington takes it away. Farmington keeping it away, and they have control in their own zone. Passes number 13. Keeps it away from St. Mary, and then St. Mary takes it on the pass. St. Mary still controlling the ball, despite defenders' best efforts. Farmington now controls the ball, kicks it back, keeping it away from St. Mary, takes it back to his own zone, and they'll pass around their own zone for a little bit. Trying to get past St. Mary's defense. Been solid this game. St. Mary controls the ball again. And they'll keep it away in their own zone. Heading back up the field now. Pass number 3. Keep bouncing around the defenders of Farmington. Farmington kicks it away. And Farmington will take control of the ball. Bouncing up the field. And it will go out of bounds. And it will be Farmington's ball as St. Mary had touched it last. So they bounce it in. Comes right back to number 2. St. Mary's defense kicking in and keeps it from the goal. So it's a long pass. And St. Mary still has control of the ball. They're looking to score first here in this game. And whistle's called. Looks like holding. So play was stopped on a holding call, and it will be St. Mary's ball. And it'll be a penalty shot. Oh. Bounced, and it will be off net, and it will go out of play. Alejo kicking it to center. St. Mary will touch it first, and they'll bring it right back. Farmington defenders have control of the ball. They'll kick it away from their own goal, and they'll try to keep it from St. Mary. St. Mary cuts it off from a Farmington attacker, and they're just bouncing it around back and forth right now. St. Mary currently having control of the ball. They'll pass it upfield. It'll go past both St. Mary and Farmington will control it. A long kick for Farmington, and St. Mary will take control of the ball. Oh, that's Stephen Gent takes control of the ball and trying to keep it for St. Mary, and it will go out of play, and it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary getting rid of it quickly and traveling upfield. Pass it, getting it real close to the net, trying to get early score in this game, and it will go out of play. And it will be Farmington's ball, or it will be kicked out by Alejo. So Alejo kicks it back in. St. Mary bounces it right back to him. Alejo comes out and makes the grab to stop play. We'll do it again. Alejo kicks it out. Farmington touches the ball first, and they will keep control, and St. Mary takes it, and play is stopped. And it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary kicking it in. We'll kick it down the line. Alejo makes a tremendous save, and it will go out of play. Great save by Alejo. Had to leave his feet to make that save and keep it out of the net. St. Mary will kick it in. Ball's in play, and it will be bounced away from the middle of the field, and it will roll out of bounds, and it will be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throws it in. Alejo bounces it away from the net, and great play by the defender for Farmington as it will be knocked away from net. St. Mary controls the ball again. They'll pass it back to their own zone. And Farmington almost getting to that. They will take control of it here and bounce it up the field. St. Mary hits it away. Farmington taking control again. Got it right around the 40 mark. St. Mary charging. Good offensive opportunity for St. Mary. Good save by the defender to keep it away from net. And that will be bounced out of play off of a St. Mary defender, so it will be Farmington's ball. So Farmington will throw it in, and St. Mary will take control here, bounces it to a Farmington defender, and it will be passed to Cade Blackman, who will lose the ball to St. Mary defender, and they will be kicked down the line. St. Mary trying to score here, and Alejo makes the grab to stop play. About halfway through the first half, still no score in this tied game, and St. Mary will control the ball. They'll kick it up the line. Alejo will kick it out, and Farmington will control. St. Mary play is stopped. It will be Farmington's ball. Technical foul on St. Mary. So Farmington kick it into their own offensive zone. Ethan Miller tries to get it, but misses, and it will be bounced around here. St. Mary controls it. They'll throw it up, hit it upfield. Farmington stops it at the 50-yard line, and they'll kick it away, but right to St. Mary, and Farmington has the ball, trying to get on offense here, trying to get some good opportunities going. St. Mary blocks that pass, and they will pass it up the field, trying to get past Farmington defense. And the defenders will, again, do their job and get it away from goal. So they'll pass it up. St. Mary defender will get there, and St. Mary will go on the attack again. They pass it up the field, but it will be out of bounds. So it'll be Farmington's ball. And so far in this game, Farmington has had to play defense a lot so far. They've not spent much time in the offensive zone. So Farmington passing it back, trying to get it forward into the O zone. St. Mary controlling it, beginning a charge. St. Mary controls the ball. Farmington will take control, and they will pass it up the field. No, you'll be there. St. Mary will take control. Cade Blackman close behind, and St. Mary launches it upfield. Farmington takes control again, gets it to the 50, and they're fighting for control here. Play will be stopped on a foul. So it'll be St. Mary's ball. Clock is currently stopped at 17:12 as there is an issue on the field. So play will resume. St. Mary's ball. They'll kick it towards Farmington's goal. Farmington defender knocks it away. St. Mary controlling the ball in the offensive zone. Make a pass. Nobody's there, and Farmington will take control. Pass it up the field. St. Mary will be right there. And St. Mary controlling the ball, trying to keep it away from Farmington defenders. And defenders will get the control of the ball. Cade Blackman trying to pass it up the field, and it will go foul off of a St. Mary defender, and it will be Farmington's ball. Cade Blackman will be throwing it in for Farmington. Or maybe not. Be number 13 for Farmington. TJ will be throwing it in for Farmington. Throws it in to number 16. Blackman hits it right to a St. Mary defender, and St. Mary will go on the attack. Tried to pass it, but the pass missed. It will go out of play, and it looks like it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throwing the ball back in. And nobody will get to it. Farmington will get to it first. And they're going to try to go on the offense. Passing it up the line. 2 attackers for Farmington, and they'll miss the ball. Stop it from going out of bounds. Open attacker for Farmington, and it will be bounced wide of the goal. It will be St. Mary's ball. Good chance there for Farmington. Could not capitalize. We're about 15 minutes into the game. Again, still no score. And it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary kicking it in. Up the field. St. Mary has control of the ball. They'll pass it up the field. And keep it just inside the boundary. And it will bounce out of bounds. It'll be Farmington's ball. Farmington throws it in. 2 defenders. Whistle blown, and Farmington will head to the offense. So Farmington kicks it in. St. Mary will touch it first. They'll bounce it right back. Farmington's got it again. Right next to the boundary there. Farmington will take control, and St. Mary will take it from a defender. Farmington keeping control, trying to get in the offensive zone. St. Mary's done a good job defending against them tonight. St. Mary passes it up the line. St. Mary in the offensive zone. They'll kick it far up the goal, but Alejo will be there to stop play. Alejo kicking it in. Farmington will bounce it further into the offensive zone. St. Mary trying to prevent that, and they will. Right back at the 50-yard line. Bounced up the field, and a Farmington defender will get to it first. They will just let it roll out of bounds, and Alejo will have to throw it in. So it's kick to the center of the field. It looks like St. Mary will make contact first, but Farmington will control it. And they're trying to keep it away from St. Mary. Pass it, fortunately, to a St. Mary player. And St. Mary controls the ball on the 20-yard line, trying to get a goal here, break this scoreless tie. Alejo make the grab off of a ball that was hit off a defender. Another great play by Farmington defense here. Alejo kicking it in. Gets past everybody. Farmington will touch it first, and they will control the ball. Passes it back. St. Mary stops the pass, and Farmington will retake control. So Farmington kicking it up the field. St. Mary controlling the ball now. Charging. Farmington defender kicks it away. St. Mary will retake control, and it will be kicked out of bounds, and it will be Farmington's ball. Farmington throws it in. Bounced away by a St. Mary defender. Farmington retakes control. And it will be passed back to Alejo. Alejo will kick it forward. And Farmington trying to get past those. So it'll be right next to the goal here on the black, and whistle will be blown. Play stopped. Alejo will pass it forward. Alejo with the kick here. Farmington will touch it first. They'll take control. Fighting with St. Mary. And whistle called. And whistle will be blown again. So Farmington will control the ball. Get an opportunity here. So it looks like TJ, number 9, Chase Gallagher will kick it in for Farmington. Makes a long kick. And the defense, St. Mary, bouncing it away. They take control. Kick it up the line. And Farmington will bounce it away from St. Mary. And it'll bounce off of St. Mary, and it will be Farmington's ball. So the whistle blown. Farmington will throw it in. And St. Mary taking control. Kick it up the field. Farmington will get to it first, and it will get it past the St. Mary attacker. Farmington looks like they will keep it, or just barely knock it out of bounds, and it will be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throws it in. Farmington takes control immediately off of that, and they will take it back. They'll kick it up the field. St. Mary having control. They're going to try to get it out of their defensive zone. They're fighting for it. Looks like St. Mary will take control, and they'll start a charge, but Farmington takes it back, and the whistle will be called. It looks like a foul. Chase Gallagher take the ball for the Knights. Okay, here comes Chase Gallagher. Kicks it forward and right on net, but the goalie hardly even has to move to make the save there. He'll roll it to his teammate, and St. Mary will control the ball in their own zone. They'll pass it forward, up the field, and almost takes control of it there. Farmington getting it away, and they will kick it out of bounds into their own bench. So it'll be St. Mary's ball. They'll throw it in. They're trying to pass it around, but Farmington prevents that. Rolling towards the out of bounds, and St. Mary will keep it in bounds, and it will roll out of bounds. And it will be Farmington's ball. So Leho will kick it up the field. And St. Mary controls the ball. And it will be bounced out of play. But by who? St. Mary. No, Farmington. It was Farmington. St. Mary throwing it back in. Bounce it away from the goal, and it will go out of bounds, and it will be Farmington's ball. So it looks like St. Mary will kick it back in. Kick it in. Bounces. Foul. And out of play. So it will be taken up the field. Alejo will kick it to center. This one's a low kick, and Farmington will touch it, and it will go out of bounds. So St. Mary will control the ball. They throw it in, keeping it away from Farmington and heading towards the offensive zone, but defenders from Farmington will take that and say no. And St. Mary bouncing it right back to the offensive zone. Bounces off of a Farmington defender, and they'll fight for it right next to the out-of-bound line. St. Mary still controlling the ball, keeping it in bounds, and Farmington will take it and run upfield with it. So, St. Mary bouncing it away from Farmington. Farmington getting it right back, and they will head up the field. Oh, St. Mary takes control of the ball, shooting it up the field, and it will go foul out of bounds on St. Mary. So Farmington will throw it in. Thrown in. Farmington immediately bounces foul. So it'll be St. Mary's ball in the offensive zone. So Peyton Inman will throw it in for St. Mary. Bounced to a St. Mary attacker, but then Farmington kicking it down the line. St. Mary controlling it again, keeping it away from Farmington. And St. Mary will kick it down the field, and it will bounce out of play. So it'll be St. Mary's ball. 3 minutes left here in the first half, and still no score. It's a good scoring opportunity for St. Mary. They'll kick it in. St. Mary bounces it toward the net, and it will go just wide of the net. And that almost broke our scoreless tie. So St. Mary will get another opportunity here. They'll kick it in. This time it's bounced away from the net. St. Mary taking it. Farmington kicking away from St. Mary, and it will go out of play, and it will continue to be St. Mary's ball. Thrown in. Alejo hits it, and it will go in, and it's St. Mary's goal. So it's 1-0 St. Mary here with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left in the first half. Unfortunate, Alejo managed to touch the ball, but it got past him and kicked into the net. So it's 1-0 St. Mary. So it'll be Farmington's ball. So they'll take control. Kicked up the field. St. Mary bounces it away, and St. Mary controls the ball. Farmington fighting for it, and they can't quite get control. Both teams fighting for it right now. St. Mary will come out on top and head towards the offensive zone. And a whistle will be called. And this will be on Farmington. Be given a yellow card. So number 13, TJ Smugala, will take the yellow card and sit on the bench. And it will be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary controlling it, bounces it towards the net, and Alejo is there and makes a save. And kicks it up the field. Nobody controlling it. Farmington bounces it further down the field, and they'll take control and then bounce it out of play. And it will be Farmington's ball as a defender had hit it out of play. Farmington throws it in. Bounce it right back to the man who threw it in. And they still have control. Passes it to number 16. And they will lose control. St. Mary will take the ball. And Farmington fighting for the ball. It's been a pretty physical game all in all so far. Farmington controlling the ball in the offensive zone. Trying to get past St. Mary. They'll pass it back. They'll pass it further back. And they'll miss it. St. Mary will bounce it off of Farmington, and it will be St. Mary's ball. They throw it in. St. Mary taking it up the field, and it will be kicked out of play. 15 seconds left here in the first half, and we'll see if anything conspires before time runs out. St. Mary kicks it in, and it will be bounced away from the goal and kicked right back to it, but just wide of the net. And time is up. So Cape will get ball first. They lead 1-0. And they will look to increase their lead over Farmington here tonight. So we are underway. St. Mary bounces it into the air. Farmington will take control. Farmington kicking it down the field. And St. Mary defenders will pass it back to their goalie. He'll pop it up high into the air. And St. Mary keeping it in bounds. And good offensive opportunity here. Hardly any defenders back there, and they will get back. No shot on goal. And Farmington taking control here. Passes it away, and St. Mary goaltender will take it away, and we will go back to where we began. Kicks it forward. Looks like Farmington touched the ball, and they will start to take it back. St. Mary takes control, and they'll hit it up the field. Farmington stops the ball from proceeding. St. Mary takes control. They will bounce it away, and it will roll out of bounds. Farmington's ball. Farmington will throw it in. St. Mary will bounce it away from Farmington, and they will take control. St. Mary still controlling the ball. Farmington defender blocks it from the pass. They'll pass it over yet again to St. Mary. And St. Mary, and there's a whistle blown. So play is stopped. And it will be Farmington's ball. Farmington kicks it down the field. St. Mary will bounce it into the air. And Farmington will take control. St. Mary getting control again. Bounce it away, and it will roll out of play. And it will be Farmington's ball. Throw it in. Farmington controlling the ball. Make a pass across field. St. Mary will take control of the ball. Farmington tried to stop him, and they will get it back. And we got a player down on the field. St. Mary still running with the ball. Number 4 for Farmington charging with the ball, and he will get stopped by number 6 of St. Mary. It was a good defensive play by Mark Jordan. So Bernard Gallhart throwed it in for Farmington. St. Mary kicks it away from Farmington. They will take control, passing it around in their own defensive zone, and they will kick it up the field. Chase Gallhart bounces it right back to him, and St. Mary controls the ball. So St. Mary charging up the field. And they'll pass it back, and it will roll out of play. It'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary will throw it in. Farmington bounces it away. St. Mary taking control again. Losing control to a Farmington defender. St. Mary bounces it in the air. Farmington trying to keep it away. And St. Mary will regain control. And Farmington taking it away from St. Mary. And St. Mary will take control at the 50-yard line. Farmington trying to take control again. They get it past St. Mary. Kicking it up the field, and their goaltender will be there to make the stop. So he'll just roll it to his defender, and St. Mary will kick it up the field. Oh, St. Mary got a good opportunity here to score, and it will be just wide of the net. Good opportunity from St. Mary. So a close one there for Farmington, and Alejo will kick it up to center field. And we'll get a whistle here. So it looks like it's going to be Farmington's ball. Farmington controlling the ball. St. Mary takes it away. Charging hard. Pass it, and they miss the pass. Farmington takes control. And they will make a charge of their own. Missed pass. St. Mary takes control. And again, Farmington takes control. St. Mary taking it right back. Farmington bouncing it away from St. Mary. And it will roll out of bounds, and it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throws it in, keeping control at the 40-yard line, passing it back, and Farmington will take control, charging forward, and playing a dangerous game over there by the out-of-bounds area. So Farmington trying to keep it away from St. Mary. They lose control, and it'll be St. Mary's ball. So St. Mary will throw it in. They'll pass it back to the 50-yard line. It will try to kick it forward, but it'll bounce off a Farmington defender, and St. Mary throws it in, and it'll go out of play again. This time it will be Farmington's ball. Alejo will kick it in. Kick from Alejo is a good one. Gets it to the 50-yard line, and St. Mary will take control and take it right back to where it came from. Farmington controlling it, and they will bounce it out of bounds, and it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throws it in. Farmington will bounce it away from the net. Good defensive play by Farmington there. So St. Mary will retake control at the 45-yard line. They'll pass it forward to number 7. Almost loses control there, but keeps it bounce. They bounce it forward. And it will go out of play. And it will be St. Mary's ball after the ball went off a defender. St. Mary will throw it in again, or kick it in, my bad. There's the kick. St. Mary bounces it towards the net, but a Farmington defender keeps it from going in. What a great defensive play. It'll go out of bounds off of Farmington, and it will go, and it'll be St. Mary's ball. Whistle blown, and there seems to be an issue on the field. So St. Mary throws it in, bounces off of a player, one of their own, and it will go out of play, and it will be Farmington's ball. Alejo will kick it in. St. Mary bounces it back. Farmington takes control. Kicks it toward the center of the field, and St. Mary will retake control. St. Mary charging deep into the offensive zone. Will kick it towards the net. Bounces off Farmington. It'll go past one of their attackers. St. Mary controlling the ball. They kick it towards the goal, and Farmington keeps it away from the goal. Bounced high into the air. Nobody will get to it. St. Mary kicking it back towards the net. Farmington will kick it away. And St. Mary will hold control of the ball again. They're charging, and Alejo makes a nice save there. Alejo kicks it back in. Farmington loses control to St. Mary. They regain control. Trying to keep it away from St. Mary. And looks like Brenner Gallagher will bounce it off of St. Mary and out of bounds. So, Farmington's ball. So number 4 will throw it in for Farmington. It'll go to a St. Mary defender. Farmington retakes control on the out-of-bounds line. They'll pass it back to their teammate. Trying to get past, find an opening in the defense of St. Mary. They kick it forward off of a St. Mary defender. St. Mary pushing into the offensive zone. Slowed down by Farmington, but not stopped. And just left of the net. So it looks like Alejo will kick it back in. Another good offensive opportunity for St. Mary. But the defense from the Knights has been very solid tonight. And it's amazing that they really have only allowed one goal. So Alejo kicks it down the line. It will go out of bounds, and it will be St. Mary's ball. So St. Mary throws it in. And St. Mary taking control, trying to keep it away from Farmington before charging. They bounce it forward. St. Mary's there off a botched play, and it's going to be a goal for St. Mary. So a misplay for a Farmington defender leads to a goal for St. Mary, and it's 2-0. So Keith Poley will get the goal for St. Mary there, making it 2-0. Farmington controls the ball. Heading towards the offensive zone. They'll pass it past their teammate. Does not go out of bounds. Ooh, good offensive opportunity for the Farmington Knights, but they miss it. And St. Mary will take control. And St. Mary playing on the boundary line. Keeps it in bounds. Bounces it, kicks it to Farmington. And Farmington will kick it forward. St. Mary there. And St. Mary kicking it up the field. Farmington will be there. Farmington passes it right back. And, Farmington player knocked down by St. Mary. And it'll be Farmington's ball. So we have about 26 minutes left in the game. 2-0 St. Mary. And if there's one thing you can take away from this game, it's been very physical. Been a lot of physical plays and a lot of good defense on both sides. So Farmington will kick it in on net, and the goalie will make the save. So he'll roll it to his teammate. Farmington keeps him from charging past the teammate, and it will be blocked by the goaltender. Great offensive opportunity for Farmington, but they could not capitalize on a great play by St. Mary's goaltender. So, goaltender hit it high in the air. Farmington misses it, and St. Mary controls it. It's number 7 for St. Mary, charging. Farmington defense got to stay on their toes. Gets it past them. And it's a shot just left of the net. Another good offensive opportunity for St. Mary. So Alejo will be there to kick it in. And he's just waiting for everybody else to get in the middle. Here you go. Kicks it to center. St. Mary will touch it first, but Farmington will take control. Charging into the offensive zone. Passes it to a teammate. And they're tracking back. Missed by Farmington, and it will be St. Mary's ball. So St. Mary will take control. They'll throw the ball in. Bounces away from St. Mary. Farmington will control it. They'll pass it back into their own zone. And St. Mary stopping them from going on the attack, and they will have to revert back to defense. So it'll go out of bounds. And it will be on St. Mary. So it'll be Farmington's ball. Alejo kicking it in. It's kicked to center. Bounced off of Farmington into the offensive zone. St. Mary bouncing it back to the 50-yard line. Farmington and St. Mary fighting for control. Looks like Farmington will take control. Trying to keep it away from St. Mary. And it'll go into the offensive zone, but the goaltender will come out of net to get to it. So throw it in. Bounced high in the air off of a St. Mary player. St. Mary trying to keep Farmington away from it. And they do so successfully. They'll bounce it towards the net, and Alejo will be there to keep it away from the net. Alejo bounces it to center. St. Mary kicking it right back to where it came from. St. Mary controlling it. Passing it up the field over his teammate. Heading towards out of bounds, but St. Mary gets there in time to keep it in bounds. And the whistle will be called. So Alejo is going to kick it in for Farmington. Kick to center. And it will get past both St. Mary and Farmington. Farmington kicks it towards their offensive zone. But it's bounced right back to Alejo of a long kick from St. Mary's. So Alejo kicks it to center. Nobody's getting to it. St. Mary gets to it first, and it will roll out of bounds, and it will be Farmington's ball. Farmington throws it in, and St. Mary fighting for it. Farmington managing to keep it away from them, and they pass it back to their own teammate. So number 9 passing it up the field. St. Mary keeps it from going any further, and Farmington takes control again, and it looks like it will be kicked out of bounds, and it'll be St. Mary's ball. So St. Mary will kick it back in. Farmington will touch it first. They've got control. St. Mary taking control. And they will go on the offense. And it will be bounced out of play by a defender. So we have about 20 minutes left here in this second half. It's 2-0 St. Mary. And there's been a lot of offensive opportunities for both sides, but the defense has been very solid tonight on both sides. It's a pretty low-scoring game all in all. St. Mary takes control of the ball. Just trying to keep it away from Farmington. And it will be stopped from going out of play. Farmington taking control. Trying to head into the offensive zone. They get it past the 50, and it will go out of bounds, and it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throwing it in. Nobody get to it. Farmington will take control first. St. Mary kicking it away from Farmington. And St. Mary will pass to their goalie, and he will hit it out of play, and it'll be Farmington's ball. So Farmington throws it in, but the whistle is immediately blown. Farmington throwing it in. St. Mary gets in the way. It's being bounced around there, and St. Mary will take control. And right on the boundary line, but stays inbounds. And it is kicked foul by the Farmington defender, and it will be St. Mary's ball. So Keith Poley for St. Mary will throw it in. Throws it towards the goal. And Farmington keeps it from going in. St. Mary taking control again. Farmington bouncing it out of bounds. St. Mary will take control. St. Mary will kick it in, trying to extend their lead to 3 goals. They'll kick it forward, and it'll be bounced over the net. It'll be Farmington's ball. So Alejo will kick the ball to center. St. Mary bounces it back to where it came from. They take control. Farmington fighting for it, but St. Mary comes out on top. We'll pass it around. Right on the boundary line. St. Mary still controlling the ball. And Farmington takes control. Charging out of their own zone. Passing it forward, and it'll be bounced foul and out of play. by a St. Mary defender. So Farmington will throw it in. Throwing it to the open teammate. Passing it forward, and St. Mary will take the ball. So Farmington keeps it away from St. Mary. They're charging into the offensive zone. Pass it to his teammate, and then St. Mary will take control. Bounce it away from Farmington. Farmington hits it into the air. St. Mary taking it into the offensive zone. And Farmington will kick it back to their goaltender. He'll kick it out to center. Bounce back to Farmington. And it's like ping pong over here. They just keep passing it back and forth. So Farmington taking control into the offensive zone. Brenner Gallahard trying to get past St. Mary's defense. Doesn't work out quite that way. And they'll have to backtrack in their own defense. St. Mary with the ball. And whistle will be called. And Farmington will kick it in. Alejo kicks it to center. Farmington will touch first, and it will go out of bounds. And it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary will throw it in. Just trying to keep it away from Farmington. They pass it back. Long pass forward. And Farmington will get to it first. They're kicking around. It looks like it'll go off a Farmington defender. And it'll be St. Mary's ball. Another opportunity here for St. Mary to extend their lead. St. Mary will kick it in. It'll go almost everybody. Be bounced away. Looks like Farmington's going to charge for it. And they get to it. Trying to create an offensive opportunity here. So St. Mary taking it from Farmington. They're controlling. St. Mary charging into the offensive zone. Holding at 30, passing. And it'll get past both Farmington and St. Mary. It'll roll out of bounds, and it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary will throw it in. Throwing it towards the net. Farmington will bounce it away. St. Mary. It's hit high into the air. And Farmington passing it back in their own zone. Trying to get it out of the defensive zone. And a good pass up to center. St. Mary bringing it back into their offensive zone. Farmington taking control. St. Mary right on top of him. It will go out of play. And Alejo will kick it to center. About 12 more minutes left in this half. 2-0 St. Mary. Alejo kicks it to center. Farmington touches it first, bounces it into the air. St. Mary hitting it towards Alejo, but his defense is there, and they will try to get it up the field. So it's right around the out of bounds line. It looks like St. Mary touched it last, and it'll be Farmington's ball. And an opportunity here for Farmington as they trail by 2. So Farmington throws it in. St. Mary taking control, trying to get away from Farmington. Farmington retaking control. It's left behind, and Farmington will pass it back. And St. Mary will block that pass. Farmington still has control. St. Mary charging, and there was a whistle called. It'll be St. Mary's ball. So St. Mary charging up the field, and it'll go out of bounds. It'll be Farmington's ball. Farmington trying to get some offense going here. It'll be inbounds, but St. Mary will take control. So it's passed upfield. Farmington defender there, but he'll bounce it out of play. And it'll be St. Mary's ball. So St. Mary tossing it up the field, but it'll go out of play off of St. Mary, and it'll be Farmington's ball. About 10 minutes left here in this second half. So Farmington throws it in, and it'll get past a couple people before St. Mary hits it into the offensive zone. Farmington trying to get it out of the defensive zone, and a whistle is blown. So it'll be Farmington's ball. So Alejo kicking it forward. St. Mary trying to get it back into the offensive zone. Farmington takes it, and they'll pass it forward. Brenner Gallhard trying to keep it away from St. Mary. St. Mary gets control. So St. Mary passing around in their defensive zone and beginning a charge. It'll go stay in play, and St. Mary going up the field. Farmington and St. Mary fighting for it. And Farmington will come out on top this time, but they will bounce it out of play. And it will be St. Mary's ball. So St. Mary will throw it in. Gets past everybody. St. Mary with an opportunity, but Alejo makes a tremendous save. And keeps the deficit to 2. Kicks it forward. We're at the 8-minute mark. So only 8 minutes left here to score 2 goals to tie it. 3 to win it. St. Mary bouncing it towards the offensive zone. Farmington has control. And play will be stopped. It'll be Farmington's ball. So Farmington kicks it forward. St. Mary bouncing it back. St. Mary taking control. Trying to get it past Farmington's defenders. They'll make a pass. And Farmington will take it away, blocking that pass, and then we'll go on the offensive. They'll pass it forward, and it's bounced way out of play into the bleachers. So it'll be Farmington's ball. Farmington throws it in, and they will bounce it out of play, and it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throws it in. Get past a couple people before Farmington takes control, and they'll pass it back into their own zone. Passing it forward, St. Mary takes control. Alejo's trying to get over there, and he'll make the grab and stop play. Alejo kicking it forward. It'll bounce, and St. Mary will take control. Farmington trying to get into the offensive zone, but St. Mary prevents that. Two Farmington defenders going after it, but Alejo will kick it off of his defender, and he will retreat back to his goal. Almost a costly mistake there for Farmington. So, bounces off of a St. Mary defender who is out of bounds, and it'll be Farmington's ball. So Farmington throws it in. St. Mary trying to get in the way. Didn't quite do it. Farmington has control. St. Mary stops the charge. Farmington passes it to a St. Mary defender, and he will pass it up the line. Farmington bounces it. St. Mary charging into the offensive zone, trying to keep it away from Farmington. It's a dogfight out for the ball as Farmington manages to pass it out of its zone. And then St. Mary will regain control. Throw it right back in. St. Mary passing it back. Number 21 for St. Mary making a charge. Farmington's defense is there. St. Mary trying to extend their lead to 3-0. And Farmington is charging up the field. And it will get past Farmington. St. Mary. And it looks like St. Mary will take control in the corner. And they will kick it up the field. St. Mary passing it back. And then making another charge. St. Mary tries to pass to their teammate, but Chase Gallagher is there. So St. Mary retaking control. Bounces it off a Farmington defender. And they're fighting for it out there, and there'll be a holding called against Farmington. So it's St. Mary's ball. St. Mary will kick it in. It's kicked, and Alejo will make the grab. So Alejo kicks it to center. St. Mary controlling it. They'll pass it back. 3 minutes left in the game. St. Mary will keep it away from Farmington, and it will go out of play. And the whistle will be called, and it looks like another holding. And it will be against Farmington. So it'll be St. Mary's ball. St. Mary throws it in. And they can't quite capitalize, and Farmington will take control of the ball. And it's kicked off of St. Mary, and it will go out of bounds. Farmington's ball. So Farmington throws it in. They pass it right back. They kick it down the line. Trying to keep it out in bounds, and the whistle will be blown. It'll be St. Mary's ball, as Farmington had been out of bounds when they hit that. So St. Mary kicking it up to about the 50-yard line. Farmington trying to take it, and it's like a dogfight out there for the ball. St. Mary takes control, and they'll pass it back. And looks like Farmington will regain control at the 50-yard line, trying to make a charge. It's bounced off of a Farmington player, and the goaltender will go out and get it. So the goaltender kicks it. Nobody will touch it. And it looks like it'll go off of Farmington. Got about a minute left in the game. 2-0 St. Mary. St. Mary passing it up the field, but it will go out of play. And it will be Farmington's ball. So it'll be Farmington's ball. They throw it in. St. Mary kicks it away. And St. Mary will pass it into Farmington's defense. About 30 seconds left in the game. Farmington trying to get something. They're charging up the field. And St. Mary will kick it away. 15 seconds left on the clock. And Farmington loses control. 10 seconds left. Farmington charging. And it'll be bounced away. And that's game. So Farmington loses to St. Mary 2-0.